利用を禁止されています。また、付近の住民の話の方に
All
話
right.
を聞くと、地
Like
震当時
everybody
は
else,
非常に大きな揺れ
I,
があ
like
り、非
everybody
常に
else,
怖かったというよ
there's
うな
a lot of
話を
different
していました。
about this, the
以上、
earthquake and everything.
新潟市
So
西館から中継でお
right
伝
now
えし
I'm
ました。
following an English
新
broadcast
潟市西館
from
からお伝えしました。で
from
は、こ
these
こから
guys
はです
here.
ね、
This is
新潟大学で災
news
害、それから災
agenda
害
free
復興につい
news
て研究されてい
have
ます、
have
浦部敦教授に
have
お話を
an
伺います。
English
浦部教授、聞こえますでしょうか？
update and
こんばんは。
stuff. Then we also
大変
have
なところどうもあり
what
がとう
I'm
ございま
showing
す。
here,
今、
with this
浦部
Japanese
さんは
TV.
安全は確
Which
保
is
されてますでし
this
ょうか？
one here. I'm not sure what the exact name of it because it's
あ
in,
りがとうございま
you
す。
know,
では、
it's
お
written
話を
in
伺っていきたいん
kanji.
ですけれども、まず地
Uh,
震発生当初
I
です
was
ね、
just
午後
playing,
4時11
you
分
know,
頃発生しまし
playing
たけれ
some
ども、
visual
浦部
here,
さんはどこにいらっしゃいましたでしょうか？
which one, visual novel game, right? Visual game on computer, and then I'll take a break and turn on the,
浦部
you
さ
know,
んご自身は
YouTube for
その地
you
震
know, a couple
発生時
seconds.
そのスーパーの中でど
And
んな
next
状
thing I
況でし
know,
た
I'm
か？
watching, you know, I'm getting shocked by what's happening right here.
はい。
Because in New Zealand, we had this happen about a decade back, but this is not the first time that happened in Japan, right? And it's a place I always wanted to go, and I wanted to go for the last 20 years. And to see, you know,
あの
this
怪
happen
我
again
人とか
in
その
such a
被害
short
に遭われ
time
た
with them,
方
with
は
the
大丈夫です
Fukushima,
いらっしゃらな
you
かった
know,
ですか？
with that situation.
その
And now we've
はい。
got this situation happening, right?
その
It's
時
such a
の
sad thing.
スーパーマーケット
And
と
like
かお店
to,
の中
to
のその
you
お
know,
客さんの様子という
anytime
のはど
you
んな状況
hear
だった
something
でしょうか？
compounding like this happen to people, it's, you know, we've had like I think it was Pakistan had one recently as well. And like, let me just put myself on small here, right? So you can see this is a Japanese news broadcast coming on here, showing you
あ
what
の
it was
浦部
like on
さ
the
ん
ground
は
there.
その後無事にご自
Um,
宅には戻られた
earlier
んです
on,
か？
they were showing like flames, like so there's buildings have fallen down and trapped people in there. People can't get to the hospital once they're injured, and so
ちなみにご家族は
you
大
know,
丈夫
there's
だ。
doctors can't get reach the hospitals to treat people, nurses and so on. So I just thought I'll jump on here and let you
で、
guys
あ
know,
の
you know,
ま
this
あ
is
その
set.
後もで
This
す
is
ね、
what's
何
happened
度
right now.
も
I mean,
定
it's
期
happening
的
right
に
now,
細
right?
かい小さ
And
な
not
揺
only
れが
that,
中心ですけれども、 そ
the
の後も
injured
定期的
people
に揺れは
aren't
ありま
able
し
to
た
get
が、
because of the
今
roads
後
have
警
been
戒
blocked
すべ
because
き
of
点というのは
debris,
どんな
there's
ところでしょう
fires
か？
and stuff. You know, I mean, you know, this is a 7.5. The last thing that we've ever that I've heard of being this big was a 6.5 or 6 on the Richter scale. You know, they were saying how like for about 30 odd seconds they couldn't even stand. You know, they couldn't stand. Like it was so crazy that they couldn't stand for like 30 seconds. They you know they couldn't keep their keep standing because it was such a huge, and this is one of like the biggest earthquakes on the Richter scale that I'm aware of. You know, like I said, it was 6.5 is like the most I've ever heard in recent years, right? Recent decades. I think the last one we had in New Zealand was like the Christchurch one was like 2011 around that time. So we've got the visuals here coming right now. That's been reported from Japan direct. They're showing that, you know, you can see on the map there on the right. I think if you're mirrored on the right here, you can see where it's been hit, where the tsunamis hit it. You know, and it's pretty full on. You know, this is like this is how you go into New Year. I mean, this is like the saddest thing. You know, I mean, earthquakes, you know, happen whenever, and that's always sad, and it's always stressing, and always, you know, terrible things. This is what, but happening, you know, just, I mean, you're seeing the buildings here. It's just so crazy. And I just, you know, I'm a weeb, right? And you know, otaku, whatever you want to call me. And I love Japanese culture. I think that's very close to Indian culture and very traditional. And I love that sort of elements to it. And I also, you know, as a fan of what they produce in the media, I like live action films, you know, not only just anime and manga, but all the creativity that comes out of there. You know, we have all that from Japan, and as a Kiwi and as an Indian, as a comic fan, as a manga fan, you know, you cannot not be in love with Japan, right? And I think it's just appreciation. I mean, check that out, man.
警戒をしなきゃい
crazy.
けないとは思うんですけれども、ただ今回の地震は
Right.
元日に発
This
生
is
したと。
buildings. These are high-rise buildings. People are in them
という
working.
ことで、帰省中の方、
You know, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, they're working.
にあまり馴染みのない方も県内
I
にい
think
ら
it's
っしゃ
about
ると
like
思うんで
what they're
すけれども、
saying here is about
改めて
4 p.m. So it's like Christmas Day. I mean New Year's Day because well for us it's like the second today, right? In New Zealand, second. So it's New Year's Day there for them yesterday. I mean right now, but I mean you know what I mean. So it's pretty freaky. That whole side you can see on like on the what is that like west end, east, west, east coast, west coast, east coast. I'd always get it wrong. Always have to look at a map. Oh, the compass, north, south, east, west, something like that. But you can see there, right, on this side, right, this side, no, that side. I'm going to get it wrong, but there underneath the tsunami, you know, red tag, you can see the map. You can see the yellow, purple, red parts there, and it's just that's the area that's been hit the most. You know, there is an English one right now as well that I've got lined up. Let me just bring that up so that you know, so we can have a listen to that as well. So let me. Where's that volume at? So it's 7.4 magnitude, right? They're saying, and it's 37.5 degrees north. So it's the east coast, right? 137.2 east. Yeah, near the west coast of Honshu, right? Japan.
Note.
An earthquake with
PTWC is
preliminary magnitude of 7.4 occurred near the west coast of
agency.
Honshu, Japan at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Japan's
so people are still in bed. Kids are still at home. That's crazy. You know, I mean, everybody's at home.
Japanese.
You know, those who are working, getting ready to go out. You know, people in Japan, they get up early to get to catch the trains and all that, and travel like everywhere else, right? But of course, the kids are at home. You know, babies at home, mothers at home, whatever. This is at 7:10 a.m. in the morning. Now, if they're saying UTC, I'm not sure what that means. I always, because our times at times it's different, right? But this is, serious, and it's quite sad. And let's go ahead back because let me see if there's anybody else out here,
so again, they're saying Pacific
Tsunami
says tsunami threat worldwide. Tsunami threat here. That includes English has now passed. This includes Japan.
Let me see what.
Note PTWC is a U.S. government agency. Japan still has their original tsunami warning for Japanese coast in effect. All right, so this is big news. This is big news, guys. This is big news. This is the U.S. government agency Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, well-known internationally.
So we can find
they
out
are saying
that if we'll go back to the Japan one, and I'll find out if that's on mute, and then we can get back and find the right one. So
出されています。地震発生が午後4時10分ぐらいです。その当時からここまでの情報をまとめました。
Right. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear that. If you're watching this, if you can hear that.
I'll actually show you the JMA one.
Right.
Here's the JMA, Japanese agency. They have the same alert that they always had. But I'm just telling you that the U.S. Pacific Tsunami Warning Agency says worldwide threat has now passed from tsunamis, from this earthquake.
And I just some, as a comic writer, right? Like I we just did a story about a tsunami hitting New Zealand for the next issue of Robot Nation.
Yeah, the Japanese, the Japan came out with that with a tsunami warning soon after the earthquake, and that has not been adjusted at all. But I do put, I'm guessing maybe they're just being extra cautious, but I put a lot of stock in what the PW Pacific Tsunami Warning Center says. I have not seen a change. Maybe there has been. One of our viewers says there's been a change to it. I don't see a change to it. The original one. Maybe I'm wrong, but the map looks the same to me. I mean, there's still the major tsunami warning.
I'm going to try something here and do dual screen with the Japan.
Oh, it's not the major one anymore. Look at this. I just refreshed the map.
With the Japan.
There has been a change.
Well.
There has been a change in that there's still a tsunami warning, but there's no major tsunami warning in Japan. Okay, so that's the first time I saw that. So this originally was purple. This area was originally purple, in this peninsula right here, which is major tsunami warning. And it said that the maximum expected wave height was 5 meters. Now it says expected maximum wave height 3 meters. And it's red, not purple. It's not purple. So that has changed.
Right. So I'm going to see if I can do that. Or maybe not. We'll see what happens.
午後8時30分に
For its tsunami warning.
No, it's not going to do it. I'm going to get rid of this one.
で発表されています。
I can try one more time.
日本列島の赤い色、津波警報は引き続き発表されています。また津波注意報、黄色くなっている北海道から九州にかけても引き続き津波注意報も庁は引き続き海から離れて安全な場所に避難するよう呼びかけています。切り替わったからといって海に近づくようなことは決してやめてください。引き続き津波警報が発表されています。では気象庁によりますと午後8時5分までに観測された津波の時刻と高さは次の通りです。石川金沢では午後7時9分に 0.9 メートル、山形酒田では午後7時8分に 0.8 メートル、福井敦賀港では午後7時31分に 0.4 メートル、兵庫豊岡市津山で
Okay. Let me grab that one back again. I was just had to get rid of the other,
39分に 0.3 メートル、新潟佐渡市鷲崎では午後7時20分に 0.3 メートル。
Every time
この
I
よう
do
に
move
午後
in and
7
out,
時
it's
台にな
like
っても
I
潮位
don't
が
think I
上が
want to play with, play games with me, basically. Let's go to the other one.
Tsunami evacuation building. What's the same for this
Right.
and this?
Give me a like, or I mean, not give me a like, but
So
just
yeah,
say,
so the difference
give
between
me a
major
1 in the
tsunami warning and
chat to let me know
tsunami
you
warning
can
in
hear
Japan
this.
is estimated maximum tsunami heights 5 meters or is expected to be greater than 3 meters versus
Sure.
up to 3 meters. So there are no major tsunami warnings anymore in Japan. There's tsunami warning.
Yeah.
But again, the U.S. agency Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is saying that they believe the tsunami threat has passed.
Right. So now it's just burning buildings. It's people trapped in buildings.
Okay. Hey, a quick thank you to
Let me now bring on the Japanese. Like this is right.
また NTT 西日本と NTT 東日本では 安否状況など
So
の
it's
確
7
認手
o'clock
段
in the
とし
morning
て
it hits.
災害用伝言ダイヤル
UTC, I'm not sure if that's
171
7 o'clock
そして災害用伝言版 Web171 を午後4時20分に立ち上げ利用を呼びかけています。そして全国の
but it's
加入
just
電話
hit
や
right
携
in the
帯電話
last
な
few
ど
minutes,
から利用できま
an
す。
hour or half an hour or something like that.
それで
Can
は
you make
北
sure
日
I
本
put
放送から
the
最新の情報を伝えてもらいます。
information?
石川県能登地方を震源とする大きな地震があり、能登では震度7を、富山県内では最大震度5強を観測しました。気象庁は富山県に津波警報を、石川県能登地方に大津波警報を出しましたが、先ほどこれを、津波警報に変えました。石川県能登地方に出されていた大津波警報は津波警報に変わっています。警報が出ている富山湾沿岸の方、避難をしてください。
一発目到着中、津波一発目到達中、萩原橋到達、萩原橋到達中、うわ。
So basically, it hit about 4 o'clock
こちらは
New
地震
Zealand
直後、富山市の富
Aussie
山湾
time.
付近
And
の
I
映
think
像で
Aussie's
す。
about 2 hours
津波が
behind us, and we're
遡
like
ってきているのがわかります。この地震で富山県内全域の海沿いでは津波警報が出されています。津波は富山市で80センチがすでに午後4時35分に観測されています。警報が出ている地域の方は今すぐ海岸から離れたところに避難してください。命を守る行動を速やかにとってください。津波は繰り返し来る可能性があります。
That's the one thing that really troubled me. I mean, that's why I want to jump on and talk, because the fact that it's so dense, right?
現在、滑川市の映像で
Everything's
した。
so
そしてこ
close
ちらは
by
地
there
震
with the
発生直
population.
後、
There's
富山市にある
everything's
北日
close
本
by.
放
Like
送
it's
本社の
congested.
車内
You
の
know,
様子
it's
で
a
す。
small island, right?
大きな横揺れ
And
が
so
続
there's a
き、
lot of
棚
people
から
live
物
there.
が落ちる
So
様子がわかります。
because of that,
気象庁によります
you
と、
know,
午
the
後4
fact
時
of
10
it,
分ごろ、
the
石川
impact
県能
of
登
it
地
is
方を
more,
震源とする
right?
地震がありました。
As you can see,
震
the
源の
houses
深
are
さ
so
はご
close
く浅
to
く、
the
地
river,
震の
I
規
mean
模
to
を
the
示す
ocean,
マ
whatever,
グニチュード
but
は
they're all close to
7.6
each
と
other as
推
well.
定され
All
て
the
います。
businesses, everything's
この地
there
震で
on the
石川
coast
県
where it
志賀
hits.
町では震度7の激しい揺れを観
And so
測
it's
し
so
ました。
easy for those
富
buildings to
山
go
県
down
内で
on
は
top of
震
each
度
other
5
and
強を
trap
富
people
山
in.
市、高岡市、氷見市、小矢部市、
I can't figure
南
out
砺
what
市、
exact
射
time it
水
was
市、
over in
船
Japan.
橋村で震度 5
But it
弱
says
を
like 4
滑
p.m.
川
4 p.m. in
市、
the US. I
久留
mean
米
in
市、
Aussie.
砺波市、
Um,
上市町、立山町、
what
朝
time
日
did it
町
hit
で
in
観
New
測し
Zealand
まし
though?
た。
You know, what's the New Zealand time?
また、この地震で富山県内全域の海沿いでは津波警報が出されています。この地震で富山県内全域の海沿いでは津波警報が出されています。津波は富山市で80センチがすでに午後4時35分に観測されています。警報が出ている地域の方は今すぐ海岸から離れたところに避難をしてください。命を守る行動を速やかにとってください。津波は
So
繰り返し来る可能性
according
がありま
to
す。
the
警戒を続けてく
to
だ
its
さい。
timeline, it hit at about
そ
you
の後
know
も能登地方を
for
震
them
源とする
today
地震が繰り返し発生し、
over
富山
there
県
at
内
2 in
で
the
も
afternoon.
断続的に揺れが観測されています。引き続き地震と津
No,
波
sorry,
に警戒し
1:20
て
in
く
the
ださい。
afternoon, right? So a major
この地
earthquake,
震を受けて、
and
富
then
山
it
県
goes
は
on
自
to
衛
like
隊に
you know
災害派遣
all
の要
high
請
speed
を行いま
services
し
were
た。
like
またこの後
halted
午後9
at
時から
about
災害対策本部の
13
会
minutes
議を
in.
行
Like
い、
that's how
被害
quickly
状
they
況の
reacted,
把
right?
握
They're
や
like boom.
今後の対応を協
7
議し、
minutes after it hit, public broadcaster NHK
今日午
reports
後
that a
4時過
tsunami
ぎ、県内
measuring
で
1
最
meter
大
in
震度
height
5強を観測
had
した
impacted
地
its
震による
place,
富山
right?
県内の被害の状況です。
And
震度5
and
強を観
so
測した
this is
富山
coming
市の
from
周辺では、道路に
Deccan
亀裂が
Chronicle
入って
online.
陥没
So it
し、
gives you a timeline. So it
土
starts
砂
from
が
the
倒れ
bottom,
ました。
you know, and then goes up.
また、富山市内
And
など
so
広い範囲で
yeah, so
道路
following
の
like
壁
about
が崩れ落ちたり、
17 minutes later, following the earthquake, over 36,000 households are currently without power, says Japan's Hokuriku electric power company, right? So that was within about 17 minutes, right? And then, you know, within like about another 23 minutes, you know, the government was basically saying, cautioning people, to be ready for potential additional earthquakes, right? And then, like, I think it was like about half an hour later, 35 minutes later, a presenter on the NHK broadcasting, Nippon, broadcasting, urged people to say, hey, we realize you're home, your belongings are all your precious to you, but your lives are important above all. Everything else, run to the highest ground possible. So that was like 30 minutes after, right, it hit. So, and then the last one we've got here, time-wise, is about 2 p.m., right? So it's about 50 minutes later, no, 40 minutes later, I think. 50 minutes later, I think. So it goes, the first tsunami waves over a meter high hit central Japan's north coast after powerful earthquakes. Periods waves up to 1.2 meters struck Wajima port at 4 p.m. local time. So it was local time. So it's between 3 and was it like 3 and 4, yeah, within an hour, like boom, it had done enough damage, right? So I'm going to bring in bring in the English one now, right? So we get a different, so we get to hear what what's being actually broadcast out there. So here we go.
Remember, cell phone service is down in a lot of places near where this earthquake happened. Heavy road damage reported.
Talking about that,
so
right?
I'm guessing
So,
it's hard for and power outages. Hard.
There was a lady who was in chat on this one that I was just watching right earlier on, about 20 minutes ago, before I jumped on, 5 minutes before I jumped on, and she said they've got family over there and they can't reach them, and this is why. There's no cell service, right? There's no power, and of course, you don't need power to have your phone on because phone's got its own power. However, a situation like that, the power itself is down, right? The power supply to the internet companies and all that is down around there, or the cell towers aren't working or all that. So we get this situation where people who might be in danger.
NTV News says Noto Airport has a level difference of more than 3 centimeters found on the runway. The runway has been closed since the earthquake occurred.
So that means it's actually either gone
At
down.
Noto
or up,
Airport
right?
in Wajima City, a level difference of more than 3 centimeters was discovered on the runway, and the runway is currently closed. Now, I don't know if that means that there's a crack in the runway and one part of it is now higher than the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What was that, 3 centimeters? Yeah, it's like about, it's just over an inch, right? Because 2.5 centimeters is an inch.
That is Noto Airport.
That's crazy.
That is an airport. A domestic airport.
And Christchurch has been through an earthquake, right? There's still, there's still people, places where I think hasn't come right. I mean, buildings and all that stuff, and then we had flooding last year. So and I've been through
Wajima City
as a child. I've been and as a teenager, I've been through one here in New Zealand.
Yes, 3 centimeters is a little over an inch.
I've been about through 2 hurricanes, cyclones, where the buildings friggin', and so kind of like I kind of know how scary it can be, right, in situations like that when the roof's flying off. But here you got the whole freaking thing shaking, and then the rain and everything fell, But I mean, it's kind of like you just had family Christmas, and now you got New Year's. You just finished celebrating this New Year's Day there now. Of course, it's the second today for us here, and so people might still have people there that come into that area because of the holiday, because of being with family. So there's extra people in there that might have been elsewhere if it wasn't Christmas.
I don't think this is a total account of what happened in these places. It says, according to the fire department in charge of Shiga Town, Ishikawa Prefecture, where a maximum intensity of 7 was observed. That's the maximum shaking. There's an intensity scale in Japan of how hard the shaking is, and 7 is the most you can be. So in Shigatown, where a maximum seismic intensity of 7 was observed, and Hakui City, and also the fire department's in charge of Shigatown, Hakui City, and another town where seismic intensity of 5 or higher was observed. As of 7:25 p.m., there was one building collapse in Hakui City and one building collapse in Shigatown. I'm guessing there's probably more buildings collapsed there.
Well, there was
3
fire.
buildings have been confirmed
I saw
to be
friggin'
collapsed,
buildings
and
on
in one
fire
case in
from the
Shigatown,
Japanese
a man was buried alive inside the building,
broadcaster,
and rescue efforts are currently
right?
continuing.
That was crazy. So, I wish I had set up where I was using OBS and I knew how to use it. I mean, I've tried to learn it. I'm not that great at it, so I stopped using it. But I mean, I would have like the English translation on one screen, and I'd have the friggin', the Japanese coverage. Let me just enlarge that. Look at the road, man. That's what he meant. Yeah. So up and down, right? Look at that. That's 15 centimeters. I'm looking at, that's probably, that size of a figurine, right? It's the width between my, pointer and my thumb. And of course, now you've got the whole get to safety hall and stuff. And you got, like I was saying earlier, kids, that's one thing really, because as a child, I was, in the middle of a hurricane, BB and Oscar, those ones in the 80s, we were like hiding under the beds and stuff. I mean, I know I was, and with the, friggin' cyclones hitting the tin roofs and stuff, and the roofs flying friggin' a mile over the road. We went to find the next couple of days to bring back and, bend back and put it back on the friggin' roof with my granddad, showing me what to do. Kids, I mean, we are resilient, but at that time it can be really terrible. But here's the thing, right? These kids around the age of 15 have been through this twice. Teenagers, I'd say, whatever that. I can't remember the last one. No, it was 2011, right? So 12 years. Between the 12-year period, some of them these younger kids have been through it twice, like say 5-year-olds, That's a river inland.
こちらは地震直後、富山市の富岩運河付近の映像です。津波が遡ってきているのがわかります。この地震で富山県内全域の海沿いでは津波警報が出されています。
So this is the report we're seeing here is from NTTV, NTTV News _news, and the other one we're watching is Agenda Free TV, right? And so this way you can see, like, you've got the water coming in, but then you have the ground shaking, and then you've got the houses shaking, and it's so close. I mean, we're lucky kind of here in New Zealand. We're like, at least we have a bit of distance between it. So like if you hit the wall from one house to the other, it won't hit the other house. Over there, they're pretty close. Some places, right? And you can just boom, hits it. I mean, England's got it worse, right? Because like freaking, my dad's from England, right? So they're all right next door to each other. Like this is a wall that divides this house from this house. But what is it? KKD News. So the media company, the news company there, they're broadcasting places getting robbed.
小矢部市、南砺市、射水市、船橋村で震度5弱を滑川市、黒部市、砺波市、上市町、立山町、朝日町で観測しました。またこの地震で富山県内全域の海沿いでは津波警報が、石川県能登地方には一時大津波警報が出されました。現在は津波警報に
outside the apartments in the hallways, outside the hotels or whatever in the hallways. You want to get away from things that can fall on you. And I mean, Kiwis in Christchurch know have been through this, right? Up here in Northland, we haven't been through it. We get cyclones and stuff, but we haven't had earthquakes up here. Touch wood, right? As they say. There for the,
能登地方を震源とする地震が繰り返し発生し、富山県内でも断続的に揺れが観測されています。
You can hear children crying.
地震と津波に
You know?
警戒してください。この地震を受け
ここまで富山県の被害状況をお伝えしました。
See, look, this was
続い
talking
て
about
は
like
石
fires,
川
right?
県
So
の
there's
被害の
smoke
状況を
coming
まとめ
up
ました。
there, I mean, up here on top of me, right?
こちらは
And
石
then
川
earlier
県
they're
内
showing
灘
buildings
町の
on
映像
fire.
です。
So it's later now. So
大
this
き
is
く傾
earlier.
いた電柱。
Power lines, man.
地
That's
面
why
に
there's no
は
power.
広い範囲に亀
There's
裂
no
が入り、
cell service.
一部は
This
盛
is
り
the
上がってし
entire
まっているの
freaking
がわかります。
that side of that freaking country, right?
撮影者は
歩くのも非常に困難な
Look
揺
at
れ
that.
で、平行感覚を失うような揺れで歩くのが非常に困難でした。映像のような状況になっていて、電信柱が倒れかかっていたりとかっていうふうな状況になってました。人生で味わったことのない大きな揺れだなというふうに思いました。
内灘町では複数の建物が倒壊しているほか、道路の陥没や液状化、電柱の倒壊などが確認されているということで
If
す。
anybody wants to come in, hang out and talk about
最大
this,
震度7を
I'm
観
only
測し
going
た
to be
石川
on here
県。
for another about maybe 15 minutes or something. I mean, there's other people, there's
大
other
津波警
news
報が出
people
されま
doing
し
it.
た。
I mean, actual broadcast media doing this.
最大
So
で
you don't
震
need
度
to,
7を観測した
but
石川県
yeah, this
鹿
is what
町
I'm
にあ
talking
る
about.
ペンショ
And
ン
so
の
this
オーナーは、
the link to stream out to come on with me, hang out,
震度
and
2、
to,
3ぐらい
you
か
know,
なって感じで揺れて、
talk
す
about
ぐ
this.
に
But
大きいのが来ま
if
した。
you've ever been yourself been an experience with this earthquake or something,
揺れ
like
て
I
た
haven't
んで
been
す
through it,
思って
but I know
長
I've
か
been
った
through
です。
typhoons and cyclones and hurricanes, right?
家の壁
I mean,
が
the same thing as
剥がれてます。立て付けとかもすごく変わっちゃいまし
so
た。
yeah.
揺れで。
So the link is there.
最大震度
Pop in
6強を観測した
Say hello,
七尾
New
市の
York.
住民
But
は、
look at the roads, man. So this is
お正月
every
ちょっと家族で
this
集ま
is
っておりましたの
every
で、
road
びっくりするぐらいいろんなものが落ちてきて
on
割れ
that side of
て、
that
タンス
island,
も倒れてっていうような、ちょっと
right,
想
of
像してなかった
Japan.
状
That
況になりま
entire
した。
side.
怖いって思うなぐらい、命の危険を感じるぐらいの、さすがに怖いぐらいの大きな揺
Honshu.
れ
I
で
think
した
it。was Honshu. They say.
最大震度6強を観測した
So-
輪島市では、地震の
Yeah,
影響で火災
North
が発生。
Central region of Japan.
消火
So
活動行われているようですが、どんどん燃え広がっているように見えます。
日が暮れ始め、住民たちが体を寄せ合いながら建物の外に避難する様子も。寒さが厳しいため、毛布も準備されています。輪島市役所にはおよそ200人ほどの住民が避難していると
see
いう
if
こ
we've
と
got
で
any
す。
live updates here on this
北
timeline.
陸電力によりますと、午後7時半現在、石川県内では
They haven't updated
合わせ
that.
ておよそ3万
So-
2600戸が停電しているとい
So
う
the
ことです。
earthquakes, has
こちら
stopped,
新潟県の長岡市
and
です。
now
電
now it's
柱
just
が揺れ
looking
てい
at
ま
all the
す。
damage that's been done by it. I mean, the cyclones, I mean, the tsunami stopped.
震度6弱を観測した新潟県長岡市。マンションの壁にも。
先ほどの地震でひびが
Yeah, I
入
was
った
just
とい
going
う
to
こ
say,
と
are
で
they looking at the building, cracks in the building? There you go. That's what I'm saying.
最大震
Everything
度
has been
5強を
damaged.
観測した
The
新潟
ground, the roads, the buildings,
市。商業施設で
you
は
know, hospitals, people can't get to hospitals because, you know, because how can you get people to hospitals? The roads are blocked and damaged, and how do you get emergency service to people? You know,
ご覧のようにですね、改札口の目の前にホワイトボー
how
ド
do you
で
reach them
ただいま
if
全線
everywhere is
で運
damaged?
転見合わせ
If
中
everywhere is
とさ
like,
れています。
you can't
改
get
札
through
の中、電
obstructions,
光掲
right,
示板
on
を
the
見
roads
て
and
みまして
everything.
も表示が一切ない
That's
と
what it's like when you're in
ジェイアール
tsunamis,
によりますと
like
今
not
現在
tsunami,
運転再開の目処が立
cyclones
って
in
いない
Fiji. They just tell you stay home, prepare.
停車中の新幹線の
What is it called? We used to have like tin cans of like graham crackers, what they call it, like square ones, and tea, right? So we'd have black tea, and that was it, and crackers to be prepared for, emergency rations. That was it when we were getting hit by cyclones in Fiji almost every year, right? And it still happens, right? It's regular when you're part of the Pacific. But I mean, this is every building. When you can see the map there, right? All along that side of the coast there, everything has been damaged, from cracks in the road to cracks in homes to fires. How much is this going to I mean, I'm not even, putting civilian, lives aside. Just how does Japan come back from this again after Fukushima, right?
一方、原子力規制委員会では、新潟県にある東京電力柏崎刈羽原発の情報収集を進めていて、これまでのところ異常が発生したとの報告はなく、周辺のモニタリングポストの値にも異常は見られないとしています。
Oh man. So it's KNB News
こちらは
building.
地震発生時の富山市内にある北日本放送の映像です。富山県では各地で震度5強の揺れを
So 7.5 it's got to be one of the, like, let me have a look, right? I'll just do a search. What is the what's the highest
北日本放送の記者の自宅でも家具が大きく揺れていました。突き上げるような揺れだったといいます。正月で多くの人が帰省や旅行している中発生した地震。
富山の実家にいます。今かなり大きな
7.2 Indonesia 7.5 in 2018, Iran 7.3. So this is, yeah, this is on the higher, the higher end. 7.5, this is one of the highest. Look at that. The entire side of the building.
現在全員が救助されたということですが、
Holy
怪
hell.
我の程度は分かっていません。富山県警察本部によりますと、富山県内では逃げようとして転倒した人など怪我人が複数出ている
That's the other thing we don't think about when it's, the supply line of food and getting necessary items for people afterwards. And this is why, like, we've gotten better at emergency services in New Zealand. We've always, civil, I think it's civil service, I think we call it here in New Zealand. We have I mean, I've known, since I came to New Zealand, we get taught about, what to do, you get taught what to do in earthquakes or certain situations. And this is at the back of every telephone book. We have, now people don't use telephone books because we all have cell phones, right? But still gets out there. I don't remember when was the last time I had one. But at the back of everything, there's a yellow page, tells you what to do, what call, what numbers to do, what to be prepared for, why do you have a torch, have candles and stuff like that, right? Make sure you got some food or water, make sure you got all that. So I've always tried to have, that sort of stuff on me, like always have a torch, because you never know what's going to happen, so you always be prepared. So I always have like a first aid kit next to me, I have a torch next to me, some bottled water, there's always dry food in the house, right? And so that you can always be prepared, because you never know what will happen. And that's something that I've always thought about, is like, what ifs, because I'm a writer, and so when I look at the world, I always imagine what if this, what if that, what if this when I'm writing stories. There's memorials, right? These are like, you can see how massive this freaking damage across the country is. All the yellow and red on the map there, the red being like the most heavy hit, right? And then you got the outer skirts and north and south there. So the red part there is where the most damage is. Now it's night, I think now, right? It's evening there now. So it hit there at 4 o'clock their time in Japan, right? I don't know what time it was in New Zealand at the time, but I know it must have been within the last 2 hours or something. So here's what I was talking about earlier, the fire, right? The fire is breaking out because electrical, gas, getting some, gas tanks exploding because something dropped them on, metal drops on them. All these things, right? Happen in situations like this, and it's just, that's what it says, act of God, right? Because it just happens. It's One thing I know is that our country will be sending doctors over and whatever Japan needs. That's one thing that we've been really good in, and so will Australia, right? The West is good at looking after their allies, and not even just the allies, but people. I think that's what I love about the West, is that we are concerned about everybody else, because we know about like politics don't mean crap at the end of the day. It's about people's lives, right? And so when it comes down to it, people, I'm sure my government's already getting people prepared, on the phone with Japan. What do we need? What do you need from us? What do you need? What do you need? Right? You need, doctors, firemen, whatever you want. We do that for Australia. Australia does it for us, right? And that sort of thing. We don't say, well, what do I get out of it? Like China does, right? China wants to put the flag up and go, oh, we came up to help Pakistan or Iran, or whatever. The last one was they put their little flag up, oh, we all help. Seen Dave's videos. No, for us out here, we just go, we're here to help. And I think that's a great thing, attitude to have when people are in peril in situations like this. But I'm sure, our country's already there deciding what we're going to, how we can help, waiting on Japan to, open the door, or whatever. But that's really what shocked me when I saw it. I was like, no, there's fires breaking out, and the emergency services can't get to them because of the roads. And this is going on right now. This is live over there, right? So TNB, NKB News is actually broadcasting this live. Is it NKB? Let me just make sure I've got that right. Yeah, it's NTV News is who's broadcasting this live. Let me get back out of there. So, yeah. Let me see if I can ask a question there. 何らかの理由で観測データが入ってきていないということです。石川の輪島港では 1.2 メートルの津波が観測された後、何らかの理由で観測データが入ってきていないということです。この他に北海道、青森県、山形県など日本海側の広範囲で津波が観測されています。Actually, I'm going to use some a time thing that I use for when I set up meetings and when I set up podcast times with international people. So let me see. What's the time here now? It's 1:03. Let's get this right. January 2nd. Right. It is 1:04. 十分に注意をしてください。石川県能登地方では2020年12月から地震活動が活発となっていて、去年5月には能登半島沖を震源とするマグニチュード 6.5 の地震が発生し、最大震度6強の揺れを観測しました。Let's go. It's 9:04. Right, so it's 9 o'clock there right now. 現在も津波警報が出ている地域があります。引き続き高台への避難を続けてください。その後も活発な地震活動が続く恐れがあります。And this fire is getting bigger. It wasn't this big before, like half an hour ago. I mean, 40 minutes ago before I jumped on. It wasn't this big. But this is what I'm saying. It's like that's one fire, right? There's smokes happening, elsewhere as well. And then, I mean, you think like in normal, like in 40 minutes in a normal situation, this fire would be out, right? But they can't get it out because of trying to get emergency services. Where's the water? Is the water pipes are damaged, right? All that's, all that stuff you kind of like, oh yeah, you just turn on the tap, it'll be there. No, the water pipes are damaged. That's why they can't get there to do water. So I wonder if they're going to be able to use like powder, that powder stuff they spray. Or I know, maybe lay a pipe into the ocean, motorize that, whatever. I don't know. But I mean, just what ifs, right?
初動対処部隊として県の要請の前に自主的に輪島市と珠洲市に向かっていました。その他、陸海空自衛隊
as I mentioned like earlier on, like I mean, the second issue of Robot Nation, right, which is being currently worked on, we just had one page finished and I lettered it, is about a tsunami. Like part of the background to the story is a tsunami that they drop a tsunami bomb, right, in the Pacific Ocean islands, and they wipe out the entire Pacific Ocean, right, all the people there. And so the only survivors of that is who are living in New Zealand at the time. And then they, in retaliation, right, whoever did that again in retaliation, drops a friggin' hydrogen bomb in the South Island of New Zealand. And this is a futuristic story I'm writing, right? It's part of Robot Nation story, and they drop a hydrogen bomb in South Island. Now the only survivors. Hey Rexillian, hey man, if you want to pop up just above you is a link to come on. And so they drop a hydrogen bomb. So now the only people from the Pacific Islands that survived was if they were elsewhere in the world, but if they're living in North Island in New Zealand. And so the thing is, like, because of what the situation, this is 3087 in the future, right? Year 3087. And so they basically, so New Zealand decides to go underground and hide what they're doing to escape the earth from all these violent countries and kill each other, and be the one power. Yeah, dude, thank you. Enjoy having you on the other night, so yeah, it's awesome. But the other thing, yeah, you could tell me more about like what happened down like if you would know anything about the situation when the earthquake in Christchurch happened, because I was up here at that time. So yeah, like I said, like I always look at I work on a what if situations when it comes to writing, and so this is what just freaked the hell out of me. It's like, what? Tsunami? Nobody expected tsunami in New Year for Japan. An earthquake. I always feel for the young ones. Like I said early on, because I've been in cyclones, I've been in hurricanes where the roof's freaking gone off the, been ripped off the, and as a child, hiding, with my granddad or my aunties and uncles, and under, trying to hide under the friggin' bed. So, because you're so scared as a kid. And I always worry about the kids because of that, because I know I've been in a situation like that where it's so, drastic. And kids, babies don't know nothing. They just hear things shaking and they just freak out. They don't understand. Like, but the young was like the 7-year-old you just saw before. He, he's freaking, right? But this is it's 9 o'clock. It's right now in Japan, and this is what's happening right then. Right. Now, if I remember Fukushima, right? If Fukushima, was that in the, let me go to 2011 on this. Right, so we had 2011 at 6.3, right? March of that same year, it was 9. Whoa, that was a 9.0 magnitude that hit Fukushima, right? So that was only 12 years ago, right? Hey, dude.
Hey, Otter, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Hey, did you wake up to see this? Because I was playing games when I saw it. It took a break to go on YouTube, and suddenly it was there. I'm like, crazy. How'd you? Yeah.
No, I've just been. I haven't been asleep. I've just been drawing, and I saw the news. My girlfriend sent me a message going, "Hey, have a look at this, man." Yeah. So pretty crazy. 7.6. It's nothing to sort of,
No. When the last one they had was like a 9.0. I'm looking at this. Let me just bring that up. This is, and I'll get back to that in a minute. So, largest earthquakes ever recorded. Right. So here we go. So as you can see here, this is the last one they had.
Yeah, man.
9 point, right? And then right after that, before that, in February, like a month earlier, we had our one here in Christchurch, right? And there was 6. And, you know, it's crazy if you look at that. And that's sad because it's only... Carry on, sir.
Sorry, you go. No, you go. You go.
Yeah, well, for me, it's crazy because they just had it a decade ago, you know? And now they get hit again. And that's the crazy thing about it. It's like...
Yeah, I think in terms of like earthquakes and frequency, I mean, they're in sort of the same boat as us, whereas, I mean, even worse in the sense that they just get them all the time. You know, they're in that sort of ring of fire. And, yeah, man, I mean, look, the Richter scale only goes up to 10, you know, so if it's a 9, it's like, you know, it's pretty nuts. So, you know, even anything over 7 is pretty crazy. But then you've got like sort of how shallow it is and what have you. You could have quakes that are quite high that are like really like sort of deep down and you barely feel them. So yeah, it's all types of stuff you got to sort of consider. Do you know sort of how far out it was from the coast? Was it what was the sort of like the epicenter of it? I don't know.
So so it's the timeline here. Let me just bring that one on, and because I'm looking at several that one. Yeah, so here's a timeline of that. So let me see if it says anything where the exact thing was.
Oh, here you go.
So this is a timeline. So down at the bottom is when it starts, right? And then goes up to 2 o'clock. So this is 7 hours ago, or actually no, so it's 6 hours ago for them. 8 hours, sorry. So here's the thing, right? So this is what they say. But it was down at the bottom, it said it's like central, not central, but doesn't kind of say where exactly, how far out it was. Right? Because then they come down to here and they went like earthquake with a magnitude of 5.7.
West coast of Honshu. Okay.
Yeah. So let me put that up properly. So they've got that. Then they had like, you know, this is like within about 17 minutes, there was no power to 36,000 homes.
Damn.
Right? So within like about 13 minutes that, you know, all the train services were halted, right? High speed, because I was like, whoa, you know, that's, you know, it's full on. So this is like all the different, so there was that power company within like about 10 minutes. And then also the other one there saying, hey, together they said, we're cutting the power, right? Now, if they hadn't, right, man, there was so much more fires going on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. That's what you wanted. So the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center weighs within 300 kilometers, 190 miles, 300 Ks.
Okay, so not the, yeah, so it's pretty close, right? Like,
well, how far is like Auckland from Whangarei is about a 2-hour drive, so this would be like a 3 hours away drive away. So that would be like from here to Hamilton. Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah, it is pretty close. I don't know sort of what kind of the impact is like tsunami wise, where in terms of like how far from the coast it has to be before it's like, you know, serious business. But yeah, like I said, anything 7 and relatively shallow, you know, you're having a bad time, you know. So yeah,
I'm trying to look at like the map here, right? So if you're really thinking about if it's 300K, can you know, so if you go under the like the reds, you know, the red bit. Let me see if I can do it across here. Can you see if you can see my mouse here? Yeah. So if you go 300, I reckon it's about over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it would be right in the middle there. I guess, I mean, looking at that red border, it's sort of, they're right on your mouse, I reckon, yeah.
I reckon if it's there, then it hits about here, right? That would be the epicenter, right? Or some around there. And that's why this other area is not so heavily damaged and the bottom's not so heavily damaged. That's why the red's there. And this is it here, right? And so, yeah, it's just around about here. I reckon that's where it's been hit major. Because then if you do it, because I'm looking at the size of the map compared to, what
yeah.
It could be
I
only
got you.
here. That's pretty
I mean,
serious.
how long ago did it happen? Do you know?
If it's 9 o'clock there now, 8 hours ago.
8 hours ago. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost It's 8 hours and 5 minutes ago. Or just under 8 hours.
Surely. I mean, I don't know. I'm not no expert, but surely if it's like nothing's happened in 8 hours, surely that's sort of, I mean, waves 1.2 meters high, still pretty high, but surely that doesn't mean this is going to be catastrophic.
Right. So what they said was recently, the recent thing, and I'll bring in the English one now. Let's see if they're still broadcasting. And right. Yep, he's still on. So let me bring the English one on, and we can see what the latest from this dude is. Is it? That one? No, that one. Yeah, it's that one. Here we go. Right. So let's go full buzz. So he's typing. He's not talking at the moment. So there's a problem with X limiting their posts. Okay. The Japanese disaster information account NERV says that the problem with X limiting their posts about so there's something with
Okay, so they're sort of something they're getting shadow banned or something. Jesus.
Yeah. So they're like it's probably just got to do with a server in that area, right? Because all the powers are cut.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, surely they have like an alert system like we do, where something's kicking off, that everyone gets a text message.
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully they're not relying on Twitter to save lives.
I think I think it's more up to keep trying to find out, make people are okay, because earlier on I said
true, that's fair.
People were saying that they had family over there couldn't reach because all the cells are down, like what's it called, like reception, whatever, right, is down for mobiles. So you couldn't ring in because all the powers are cut. And that means if the power's cut, then the servers aren't working, right?
Right.
I'm not very technically minded, but I'm always like, what ifs, but so I can't give you why, what happens to break down a server, but if the power isn't going to something, if that's, this box say is what's providing the cell thing, and that's the power to is turned off, then of course you're not going to get that. I think that's the problem. 36,000 homes no power, but that's businesses as well, right? You got to account for that.
True.
And you don't know which businesses are on which power provision. We have our own emergency lines for certain things that that goes to that, and so that makes sure that the emergency places are working no matter what. Like you got your motor, like we used to have in Fiji, where you have a friggin' put some kerosene and or petrol
like generators and stuff. Sure, I mean,
look, generator. That's it.
Japan is super well put together. So surely after Fukushima and after that tsunami in 2011, surely they've got all their emergency services have generators and things like that. I'd be very, very surprised if they're not sort of prepared in that aspect anyway. But Jesus, I mean, what's going on there?
This fire's been raging since the last hour. It's getting bigger and bigger.
Damn. Okay.
And it's all got to do with not being able to get to with fire engines and stuff like that, getting access to water, because like I was mentioning earlier, that if all the if all the ground's breaking and all the pipes are going to break, right? And so how are you going to get a water supply and stuff? So this is in the day, and now you see this later on. So this is around about 1 o'clock, 8 hours ago, when it hit, and you can see they're playing that and just showing the after, before and then after live, and then all this stuff. But it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Right, here we go.
Solving the issue of API rate limiting. We are able to confirm that automatic posting of tweets has resumed as of 19 minutes ago.
Right. So this is was that whole issue with like them not able to get message across about what situation I think. But here's the thing. So if you're not able to let people know because your cell system, cell phones are down, the provider, whatever is down, because of the situation, how do you find out if somebody's not trapped? If someone's trapped somewhere, and they can't use a phone to let you know that they're trapped somewhere, because everybody has a phone, right? Even kids have a phone.
Yeah, the tsunamis observed in Japan, this hasn't changed for hours.
Yeah.
So TBS News Japan posted this. So it's currently 9:19 p.m. there.
Yeah.
But about 4 hours ago, there was a roughly 4 feet or more tsunami observed in Wajima Port.
Oh, wow.
That's the biggest one. And then there was also one of roughly, I don't know, that's probably about 2.5 feet in Toyama.
So there was a
a
secondary one.
ago. And then after that, that's been it. There's been nothing bigger than that.
So if it's like sort of crested, then I mean that's encouraging. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's basically slowed down, right?
Japan, but the U.S. Pacific Tsunami Warning Center is saying that they believe the tsunami threat has.
I mean, think about like the quakes in New Zealand, right? Like you get like a tsunami warning as well, and then like it's a nothing burger, it's like a 30 centimeter wave that rolls up, So maybe they're just they're just playing it like super safe. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you want to. I mean, like because if you don't, and then something happens, everybody will go, well, why didn't you? And you don't want to ever be caught out. It's better to err on the side of, like as they said, right? Better to err on the side of safety and caution than to be, ignore things that, that's what they're there for, like to be able to just say, hey, listen, we're not sure, but we want to make sure that you get to high places, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's what they did. But I mean, like in this situation, when you're part of the, you're on that, like, what do they call it? Like the lee line, whatever they call it.
There are still
and if you know that
look at this, guys. Look at this. This is
what he's saying.
New report. Army conducts rescue operations. Self-defense forces is their army. Japanese army conducts rescue operations with 1,000 personnel in Ishikawa prefecture upon request from governor for disaster relief efforts. By the way, they're showing on NTV News some kind of outdoor. What are they showing?
Yeah, that's what we're showing. That we're showing before.
Evacuees.
Yeah. So let me bring that up because that's the two that we've been following. NTV. So this is one here, right?
Yeah.
So this is right now in Japan, and you can see the fires. You see all the power's out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Damn,
so
man, that's spooky.
Here we go. Come back to that one.
So, and the army has about 1,000 personnel engaged in rescue operations within Ishikawa Prefecture.
Yeah.
A disaster relief dispatch request was received from Ishikawa Prefecture at around 4:45 p.m. on the 1st. The request was accepted, and approximately 1,000 ground self-defense force personnel will carry out rescue operations depending on the damage situation. About 30 of them, as part of the initial response team, voluntarily headed to Wajima City and Suzu City before the request. In addition, approximately 20 aircraft from the ground, maritime, and air defense, self-defense forces, that's the Army, and various branches of the armed forces are collecting information.
Why they say self-defense? Because Japan isn't allowed to have an army. Because of World War II.
Mainly from the
Army. As a otaku, if you're manga and
so 1,000 personnel, 1,000 troops have been dispatched.
Japan, JSDF
in rescue operations
their army.
Ishikawa Prefecture.
And
So, I'm just looking at them. Sorry to interject. I'm just looking at
man. If you got something to share me. Present it to me.
There's just I'm just in the Herald at the moment, and there's like they sort of have like a blown up map. I think it's like a Twitter post actually. Let me send you a link to this. So if you look at the
of damage.
Is that .co.nz?
Yeah, we go.
Ground damage.
There you go. Yeah. click on this link
PBS
here.
Japan.
All right.
If you look at
Earthquake
that
causes
warning map,
major
there's actually
ground
it's
damage
color
in
coded, right?
Uchinata
Yellow
Town, Ishikawa
is
Prefecture.
advisory, red is warning, but
In
there's like a
Uchinata
small
Town,
kind of section that says
videos
major
taken by
warning in
people who
purple.
experienced the
But you
earthquake
can't sort of
showed
see on that sort of feed there. So
Okay, let me bring it up.
maybe that particular spot is extra vulnerable. I don't know.
Right. So so this is what it's saying: a massive earthquake, Ishikawa. I've heard of that because I mean, like, I'm a weeb, so into manga and anime and all that. So this is what we're saying. Like over here, right, is where it must have hit to get that, and because the top and bottom didn't get that major, but the warning and then major warning. It's just crazy.
Yeah, again, I don't know what that means. I mean, they're logging all those wave heights at the moment. And like I said, it looks like that it's sort of okay, but
is this coming through?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow.
See, that's what I was saying. Like when we started this, I was saying that people weren't able to stand up. That's how massive the hit was.
Yeah. Yeah, that's spooky, man. I mean, if you've been in even like I've been like at a couple like 5 point whatever's, 5.6, I think of Rotorua. Just even those are super unsettling. It's just that your body's not kind of used to the ground shaking underneath you, and it's just real disorientating.
Okay, so this is 26 minutes ago, right? So the other one was an hour ago. So let me bring this up. What are they showing?
Okay.
Yeah. So let me bring up that warning. So now, warning downgraded, but warnings and advisories remain. The Japan Meteorological Agency has downgraded. Just read that issued for Ishikawa Prefecture. Tsunami warning is now in effect for the prefecture and prefectures just means like the townships, the city, right? That area. And other prefectures around the region, and officials are urging caution. So let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, so here we go. So people in those areas are being asked to evacuate immediately, right? Not not wait for help. Get the hell out, right? To higher ground, and just get to higher ground, because they don't know. Maybe you never know what happens with these ones. Like if there's a follow up. I mean, they said there was a second follow up like 20 minutes later, right? Let me see if there's anything else here. So Japan tsunami. Okay, so that was that one there. Let me go to Japan earthquake.
Okay, all right. So that purple like major warning has been downgraded to just red. Gotcha. Okay. So that's Ishikawa, like right in that archipelago there. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, so look at that. Number 4 is there, the most intense, right?
Yeah.
That area there. Sheesh. Wait, are they saying that's where it hit? X marks the spot?
Maybe.
Because that is pretty close, man.
Yeah, if that's where it is, then that place will be shaking hard. Yeah.
Suzu, no.
I'm still interested to find out sort of how shallow it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's head back to the Japanese one again and see what they've got. Like,
let's have a look. Usually New Zealand's pretty good at like reporting on the details, just because we have them so often.
Yeah. So have a look at where my mouse is right now, right over here. Is that where that X was we were seeing before? Is that the same place?
Hard to say.
Because that's what it looked like. That arm that was coming out, like that. What is that called? Like that. I can't even remember that. That little thing that's poking out.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
That's what it looked like on that map, right? So let me go back to the map. So if you look at the map just before that little bay, right? What do they call it? I don't even know. What is that called?
Like an archipelago, I guess. Is that what?
Where the number 4 is, right?
Yeah.
So is that it there, or is it this one here with number 1?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it could be. You know, it looked like that. It was from maybe like the ones there. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to get a sense of sort of scale. You know,
right?
Because that could be on the coast, and it's just like a little sort of inlet. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. One thing I love about the Japanese people, they're very polite.
Yeah.
And it's just something, what really attracts me to the culture is because of politeness and kindness and the way they've survived so much, and not because of their own fault, but because of who ruled over them, right? And stuff like that, and leadership and all that. Now I'm gonna go back and see if we can find the English one. And is he finished? Oh no, he's still going. Good, he's going. All right, let's. Because now with the Japanese one, they're just giving you rundown, and let's go with this one here and bring this guy back up. Maybe he can tell us what's. Yeah, so. And then I'll look for the New Zealand, the New Zealand Herald to see what's New Zealand Herald's doing.
Oh, there was a video a couple hours ago. A bunch of the Japan channels were showing this big fire in Wajima City. I believe this is what they're talking about.
So it's Wajima.
NHK News says Ishikawa fire breaks out in the center of Wajima City and continues to burn fiercely even before 7 p.m. It's now 9:30 p.m. there. The fire appears to have started in a house, and firefighters are working to extinguish it. Might be out now. I'm not sure. It said, what's this update here? They said on X.
Were we looking at a feed of it and it was still going?
Fire
yeah, it was still going.
Now there it is. There, yeah, 3 minutes ago.
Some of you were watching live video of this on the
web. Yeah, it's getting bigger.
I haven't heard of any casualties reported from that.
I mean, have there been any casualties reported at all?
Not that I've seen. Nothing's been said about it. But the only thing I'm worried about is little kids, right, being trapped in under homes because of there's been buildings that have fallen down and stuff. But
right,
I don't think.
True.
I don't think.
I guess it was just a new
they said
earthquake.
there was injuries, right? There was heaps of injuries.
Yeah,
and they had
Well, is this, how close is this one? Hold on a second.
Hold on, did they say another earthquake?
Abuhav Sharma mentioned this. Was there a new aftershock?
Oh yeah, that's the one we were talking about before, right? There's about half an hour later, there was another one.
See it on USGS.
I mean, if this is live, then he might be talking about a new one.
Right.
I mean, it looks like that Ishikawa prefecture got hit by a bunch of 6+ earthquakes.
So it got 7.5, then it got a 6.5 afterwards.
That's weird.
Dang. That's...
NERV, which is the Japan disaster account.
Look at that on Twitter. NERV. Where was it? NHK. Let's go back to NHK News.
Is that old?
Right.
What is this?
Come on, NHK. Wait, let's go to Japan News.
Look at this. They said at around 9:21, 11 minutes ago, magnitude 6.3 earthquake occurred in the Central Sea of Japan. I haven't seen that reported anywhere else. This is estimated to have occurred offshore and at a depth inside. I don't think there's going to be a big tsunami from a 6.3 earthquake. It's just, I haven't heard this. I don't have a location. They just posted that. I'm not going to show the NHK. Yeah, one of our viewers mentioned there's an NHK press conference. I can't steal NHK.
Okay, I am going to bring up this. So let me silence that. But look at that. This is from Japan News.
Whoa. Okay, so that's dang.
Yeah. So people are buried alive. The one thing I was when you asked about if everybody's been died or injured, so there was a lot of injuries, and doctors couldn't there was shortage of doctors because of the amount of injuries that people going to the hospital, and so doctors weren't able to get to the hospitals either themselves. They're stuck at home because of the traffic, the fact that the damage to roads, obstructions on the road. So that was the first thing that I heard was, hey, there's people aren't able to get to hospitals themselves, and those that get there can't get help because there aren't enough doctors at their hospital because they weren't expecting an emergency, right? And of this magnitude there. But I mean, look at that, a whole building, just boom.
Yeah, that's man. You would think that their buildings would be earthquake proof too.
Oh yeah,
like
they are.
how
Right?
was
Like all their nuclear stuff and everything like that is all earthquake proof, right? Ever since Fukushima, but it's always been. But the thing is, act of God kind of situation, you can't really, prepare for,
true.
100% for anything. Right, so let's see what the situation here is. So I guess they're trying to say where was hit and everything, right?
というふうになります。観測点ではそれぞれの揺れなんですが、全体としてかなり強い揺れが起きていただろうと推定されています。
Hold on. Yeah, I had that volume off. Right, so
通常はもうこの近くだけが強く揺れると思われがちなんですが、今回かなり規模の大きな地震でしたので、この範囲全体が強い。
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We're right. Yeah, so that's what we were talking about, how it got hit there. Because, so yeah, 300 miles out.
令和6年能登半島地震の地震活動につい
Yeah,
て
good spotting.
こちらが赤いものが
because it's quite a huge land mass.
活動ですね、始まって以降の今日ですね、今日の地震をマグニチュードを縦棒、こちら16時台から横棒で書いている。で、それを
So what I can understand is
どこで
saying
起きた
like
か
it
を
hit really
プロットした
hard,
ものがこの
right?
図になります。
And then there was
こちら
another
見てい
hard,
ただ
like
く
there's a
と、
line there.
かなり赤い
Yeah, there, so
地
you
震
can see
活
that.
動の
There's
地
a
震
line
が
just
発生
there.
している地域が
Hit
広い
again.
ことが分かります。従来の活動域はここだったものが、かなり沖合と先ほどの強い揺れになったような。
They've updated the wave. I guess there's the waves in the bottom right hand corner. So again, it's still it's dropping from yeah. So I think the biggest one so far has been 1.2 centimeters, and it went to 80 centimeters, and now you're getting half a meter, 40 meters, 40 centimeters.
左側が
So there was
I'm
half an
guessing
hour
that's
ago,
what that
or-
is.
Yeah, so
こ
it's
ちらです
about
ね
an hour and 20 minutes ago was
2020年以
half
降
a
の
meter.
年ごとの活動と今年の1月1日、本日以降の活動の状
That's
況を
pretty,
書い
yeah, I
てい
didn't
ま
realize
す。
what that was. So now it's
こ
dropping.
ち
So you
ら
can,
最大
I'm
震度
I'm
が
just guessing. I'm just
2013
guessing
年
that's
の
what it
数が
is.
こちら
I
です。
mean,
ここでちょっと注意していただきたいのは、今回の
because
活
the
動、
time there
震
is
度1が
9:30,
0とか、
right?
震度
Because
2が
it's
8回というのは、
1:30,
これは実
1:40
際に
a.m.
そういう
here.
小さい
It's
地震
around
が
about
起きてい
9:30
ないの
there,
ではなくて、
give or take a couple
かなり
minutes, right?
活動が活発なの
But
で、震度3以上とか大
see
き
how
な
the flat
揺
the
れを感
area
じた
is,
もの
right?
の情報発表を優先して行っていて、震度
Look
1
at
や
that
2
tree
のもの
there
については
shaking like
後日
crazy.
追加する形、精査をして追加いたします。現時
So
点
this
で
would be like
発生するたびに
I mean,
発
just a
表する
camera
情
setup,
報
right?
で、すべ
CCTV
ての
setup,
震度1や2のものが発
and
表できているも
that's
のでは
shaking
ないの
this
で、
badly because that's
こ
on
う
the
いった
building it
現
is
時
on.
点の数としては、少ないものになっています。一方で、こ
and
の
is
震
that
度
the
3以上
fire
の
like starting to break
数を
out?
見
Is
てい
it
ただく
what
と、
it is?
これは
Left, there's
16
like
時
smoke
前まで
clouds
と、
and
それ
Yeah,
と
the
は1
smoke,
時間
right?
ごとに書い
That's
てい
what
ま
got
す
me. I
が、
was like,
1
there's
時
smoke
間
then.
で
That's what's like, this smoke,
It's like
like a little
dust.
bit here.
9回、10回みたいな、こうい
You
った
know,
数
it's
で発生してい
gas
ます。
leaks as
で、
well
詳
could
しく
be,
見ていただくのはその
you
下
know.
のグラフですね。こ
But
ち
I think
ら
that's where the
をちょっ
main
と拡大
fire
していただくと、
started going on.
こちらですね。すでに回数をそういった小さい震度のものを発表していない状況でももうこのような数の揺れを感じる地震が発生していると。で、今年の5月の数はこちらになります。この時も小さいものというのは後日精査をしたりして追加した結果の
Let me
数
see.
になります。
So another one that's doing
現時点はこう
something
いう
here
ように
is
なっ
we've
ておりま
got.
す。
Um,
説明は以上にな
let
り
me
ま
see
す。
who's doing live right now.
ありがとうございました。それでは各社さん質問ありましたらお願いします。
Okay.
すみま
So
せん NHK の及川です。よろしくお願いします。先ほど8時半に大津波警報から津波警報への切り替えをされたと思うんですけれども、こちらどういう理由で切り替えになったか
So
教
this
えてい
is
ただけますでしょうか。
津波警報発表以後、
I'm going to grab just give me one sec and I'm going to grab
Yeah, no
this.
problem.
This is world is one here. So volume up.
And the civil authorities
Here we
and
go.
the military and so on are very well practiced in helping people.
So is this
We're talking
live?
about that before. This
Earthquakes.
is live.
And the area that was struck is it's not like this hit the center of Tokyo. Of course, there's always those worries that after the great earthquake in the first decade or so of the last century, that Tokyo is due another earthquake. Although that could be tomorrow, it could be in 100 years' time. Nobody really knows. But the Japanese are very well prepared for the worst.
Yes, as you rightly pointed out, the Japanese are very well prepared for the worst, but it has also raised fears among the local people out there of mass evacuations, which has just happened ahead of this particular tsunami that has hit the coastline. Take us through the situation on ground right now. What are you picking up from your sources?
Well, mass evacuations, the great thing about this was that the mass evacuations were ordered before the tsunami actually came anywhere near to hitting the coast.
Right.
Again, large areas, lower areas being evacuated. Obviously, in this case, if you're the governor of the local region, or if you're the person in charge of coordinating the response to an earthquake and a tsunami, you're probably going to err, or hopefully err, on the side of caution, and that more people may well, or more areas may well be evacuated than turns out to be necessary. And certainly that's the hope here.
And to stay with us on the broadcast, Sonia Blaski, a journalist, is joining us
So
live
they're
from
talking
Tokyo
like
what's on ground on the situation unfolding.
So she's live from
Sonia,
there.
do tell us what's happening right now. The tsunami has just struck the coastline of
And by the way,
Japan.
why on is World is One India? It's an India broadcasting.
Yes, a lot is happening this afternoon. We've had the biggest tsunami warnings in many years. And I think the most alarmed I've heard newscasters here in a long time. Every, I would say, 10 minutes or so, there are more earthquake alerts coming through the system. At the moment, I mean, the biggest warning is 5 meters. In some other places, 3 meters and 1 meter. In some places, the tsunami has arrived. So far, the biggest seems to be 1 meter and 20 centimeters, but they keep warning that that's just an approximation. That is kind of the minimum size. So it could be much bigger. And they also warn that people should not think, now the danger is over. They should really stay on the alert, get away from the coast, get up on top floors of concrete buildings, and really make sure they're safe. So this is really one of the biggest earthquakes we've seen in Japan for quite some time. And yeah, not the way to start the new year, I guess. So.
I didn't realize there was, what is that, like China up there?
If there's any other alert issued by
Japan's
Japan's meteorological
agency.
Yes, there are different warning levels depending on the size of the tsunami. And there's the biggest warning level of 5 meters at the moment, or that's the estimate anyway, is for the area close to the epicenter, which is the Noto Peninsula in Ishikawa Prefecture. So from Tokyo, a few
I wonder why
kilometers,
they've
basically northwest
said
of
that it's
the
1.2
Japanese
meters
capital.
in. If
And then in the areas
this
nearby,
lady is sort of
there
going,
are
hey,
strong
no, the
tsunami
waves are
warnings
actually
in
much
other
higher.
places,
Why would
even
they
up
be
to the
describing it as sort of
Japan, to
1.2
Hokkaido, and to
meters?
the very south to Kyushu.
Maybe they're saying that because it's coming in inland. Like I saw you saw the rivers coming up as it travels in. So about like on the it's kind of weird. You're right. It is kind of weird. Like you're getting like
surely you would do it like at the upper limits. Hey, it's some places it's 5 meters. Well, okay, we'll warn that it's going to be 5 meters, not the lowest.
Yeah. Well, so they're saying, so you got 1 meter is the average here.
I mean, this map still has that major warning going
New
on
Year
too.
hasn't
So
begun very well for Japan. Our first story is from Japan, where a 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit the north central part of the country.
So this is like
Now, the earthquake triggered a tsunami warning and advisories have been issued for residents to evacuate. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued the tsunami warning along coastal regions of Ishikawa, Niigata, and Toyama prefectures. Tsunami struck parts of the coast along the Sea of Japan. Up to 3-meter high hit the coast of Wajima City in the Ishikawa prefecture. Evacuation alerts have also been raised by weather authorities. Authorities said no abnormalities were, however, reported after checking all the nuclear reactors in the country. The Japan Meteorological Agency said a succession of 21 earthquakes registering 4 magnitude or stronger struck central Japan in just over 90 minutes on Monday. According to
21.
local authorities, around 33,500 households were without power around the epicenter of a series of major earthquakes in central Japan.
So the
Several
infrastructure's
major
just been like
highways were closed around
shattered.
the
Yeah.
epicenter of a series of major earthquakes in central Japan, like we told you. This is as per the road operator. According to the Japan Railways, Shinkansen bullet train services were also suspended between Tokyo and the epicenter in the Noto region in Ishikawa prefecture on the Sea of Japan side of Japan's main island of Honshu.
yeah, like you said, there's a CCTV sort of shaking around. Oh God!
I just thought something fell off the top of that those towers or those what is that called, those chimney things where they hit them.
Ah, yeah.
So this is the major one. Then there's about another 20 more details
after
on
that.
that. We are now joined by a Tokyo-based
Smaller ones, I
journalist,
guess.
Sonia Blaszke. Now, she is with us now. Sonia, first up, give us a lowdown of what you're hearing there. Tell us about the magnitude of this particular incident.
This is a big one. I mean, we've not seen this this high number of alerts coming to the phones, to the television, to warning people to make sure they are safe because there's yet another earthquake. Also, the height of the tsunamis this time is really not something that we've seen since 2011 here. 3 meters, 5 meters, and the authorities are warning, you know, there could be even higher tsunamis. Also, because of the way the sea is shaped, it's possible that the tsunamis that come in later might be even higher than the first one. So
I was looking at like the
even though
depth of the sea.
the first
When you go like the
earthquake
darker and
struck
darker, that's the
over 2 hours
lower,
ago,
you know,
it's really
the lower it is,
too
right?
early to let
And then
down
comes
on
up and
sky.
shallow, and I was looking, it's like a
And
freaking
authorities
almost
are
like a black
warning
hole
that
in
there
the
might be
area.
more earthquakes in the days to come.
Many fear that, and you mentioned as well, that this could be a repeat of the 2011 disaster that crippled Japan. How prepared would you say is Japan for this?
I mean, overall, Japan is really a well-prepared country for this. Whenever there's a big earthquake, there's a certain procedure that they're following. And unfortunately, because of the way the country, I mean, because of the amount of earthquakes they experience, they have a lot of experience also with this procedure, you know, the press conferences, the alert levels. However, I think what's different now compared, for example, to 2011 is that there's really a much higher awareness now also in the population that this could be really bad. And I've not seen or heard newscasters this almost like panicky, you know, when they started warning of the tsunami. So I think, yeah, we've not seen the last of this, I'm afraid.
Now, Sonia, talking about the epicenter of this quake, the Noto region of Ishikawa is said to be the epicenter of this 7.6 magnitude earthquake. Now, in the evacuation alerts issued, there is clear agency to make sure people in the Wajima city are safe. So does the tsunami, you'd say, pose the most threat to Wajima and the Ishikawa prefectures?
Well, I think, you know, since the epicenter was nearby, that's what we can kind of guess. It's also where the ground shaking was the most intense. But the authorities
There's
also
that fire
said
we
that,
saw before,
I mean,
so
they've
they're doing the same,
earthquakes
you know,
in this
they're using
area
the same
for
footage that
past
we're
few
using
years, and
before,
apparently
live
the
from
scope of
NTV.
the area has widened. So that could also mean that the next jolt might be in an even, wider area and could affect also the neighboring prefectures. So while yes, Wajima is the most affected at the moment, I think a bigger area needs to be on alert and kind of watchful. And
there is a high freaking waves. Like I mean,
asking people to
you can't
get away
you
from
can't
old
tell, but you
buildings
can
and
see
try
how
and
high it's
find
heading
newer
up
buildings,
from those
made
boundaries
from
there.
concrete to really make sure they're
Because
safe.
usually
I mean, it looks like
from this, by the way.
there's a storm going on at the moment, but it's
that's
not.
really
It's just
also
from
difference compared to earlier.
the quakes.
What are the other evacuation measures that you're hearing of, Sonia? Other than going away from the old buildings, what else have you heard the authorities warn the residents of?
All right, we'll give another minute of this, and I'll go back to the
Another new development
Japanese
compared to
broadcaster.
2011 is that they warn people to move to top floors if they can, because back then an issue was that many cars got stuck in huge traffic jams and then got caught by the waves. And if people had just stayed in their place, or gone up to a higher building, to a strong concrete building, to the top floor, they would have survived. And so it's really not always about the distance to the sea, but also can you get up to higher ground like really quickly? And maybe this higher ground is not actual ground, but a really strong building.
I mean, to put it into context, the 2011 tsunami was like 40 meters high,
right?
At its maximum. So, and if you've seen any footage of that, it's just incredible.
Like it's like it was 9.0 on a Richter scale, right?
Yeah.
So this is the the live broadcast from there right now. So this is the government broadcasting response.
So they don't have the government response doesn't have that major warning anymore, which is
right.
I don't know if everyone else is just waiting to catch up, but
I'll do another search and see if there's anything else, because a lot of people are just repeating, showing the same thing online.
Yeah.
Like even Herald hasn't, like I can't see anything from the Herald being updated. Now,
it's really after that sort of 2011, quake in like Fukushima that is, I think, the fact that Fukushima happened, 2011, that's what's sort of drawing, that's why, people would be looking at this internationally anyway,
So, let me see, we've got times. Okay, I'm gonna go. Here we go. So this is another Indian broadcaster, because they're up, right? So which one is it? That one. Here we go.
Right now, the focus is to evacuate people, take them to the places at the higher altitude. In fact, the Ishikawa, and these are some areas, some provinces, Niigata and Toyama, where people have been warned. They are being moved to the safer places, and that is perhaps
the Indians, like this right channel, the CNN, they have the weirdest freaking broadcast. Everything's always moving on it.
Has hit north.
So you got to be some,
Japan
keeping people's attention.
Tsunami warning along the coastal regions of Ishikawa, Niigata, and Toyama provinces.
Whenever I've seen this,
people living in the coastal areas have been urged to quickly evacuate as waves.
The cool thing here is they got 4 different
5 meters are expected to slam the shoreline. The earthquake was felt by residents across Tokyo and in the Kanto area as well. Several strong aftershocks have already hit the Sea of Japan in the hour after the initial earthquake. The government has warned that there could be more to come. Remember, there were about 21 aftershocks just 90 minutes after the initial quake, ladies and gentlemen. This is along the Pacific Ring of Fire. Remember, Japan is in a very volatile seismic zone, and now we're seeing the impact of that initial quake and the 21 aftershocks which followed. A 1-meter tsunami wave has already hit the coast along the Sea of Japan, and the Japanese authorities say that about waves as high as 5 meters could hit the coastal areas as well. I'm joined by my colleague Siddhant on the broadcast. Siddhant, what's the latest when it comes to the aftermath of this initial quake? We can see that many buildings have been damaged. People have been urged to move to higher ground. What's the latest on the ground?
Well, yes, that's absolutely right, Ayushman. And as you rightly pointed out, earthquake of magnitude 7.6 hits the Japan coast. And in fact, the multiple agencies have issued advisories warning for people. And in fact, people have also been asked to evacuate and go to the areas of in higher altitude. The Japan Meteorological Agency issued a tsunami warning along the coastal region of Ishikawa, Niigata, and Toyama. And after a series of strong quakes that took place, in fact, we have been told that 21 times earthquake has occurred in Japan, and in fact, there's also a warning that torrents of water could reach as high as 5
room for
meters,
anyone to
which is
contact.
16.5 feet, and urged people
So I reckon
to,
our own consulate over there will be,
agencies have urged
sorting
people
out
to
the
highland.
Kiwis there.
Yeah.
Aussie will be doing theirs.
High hit the
Just
coast
making
of
sure everybody's
Wajima
safe.
City. People have been asked to evacuate. In fact, the nuclear Hokuriku Electric Power said it is checking for any irregularity at its nuclear power plant. So that is also something which is in the minds of the agency, and they are right now looking into it. The high-speed train network of Japan, or perhaps in one area of Japan, the coastal area of Japan, has come to standstill. The trains have been stopped. In fact, we are getting a lot of pictures and footages of what's happening there on ground. Japan has always been the quake-prone area. In fact, the Indian government, the Ministry of External Affairs, has announced setting up a control room in Tokyo at embassy, and the hotlines have also been issued for the Indians in Japan if they are stuck or they need any sort of help or assistance. Indian government is perhaps first few countries to announce the command center in Tokyo. The numbers have been the numbers we are already flashing on our screens. On those numbers, the contact can be established with the Indian government, and through which any help or assistance can be sought. So,
all right, I think until man, here's the thing. Like, I hope the next big one doesn't hit, because that's freaking, because if they're saying there's a 5-meter one going to hit, that the possibility of it, I just wish that doesn't, because that would just devastate the whole. The problem here is every building is now damaged, every road is damaged. So anything else major hits, they're going to get toppled, right? And those buildings, they're not going to be safe anymore, and that's going to be I always think about how long would it take to them to get back on their feet again? I mean, we saw how long it took Christchurch, right, to get back on their feet, and and they got still places that are condemned, from what I understand. Areas that are because of whatever they call stuff that come up from the ground.
Oh, like the liquefaction, whatever it's called. Yeah,
and they can't build because it's too damaged, those land areas, and so you just can't. And so that sort of stuff happening in Japan, because it's an old nation, and so they've got so much. It's such very congested, but very like they said, they're used to this sort of stuff, and they're very equipped to it compared to because they're used to it, because it's kind of like a thing that happens often compared to everybody else. However, anything major again hitting it would be devastating, and nobody wants that, not for Japan, not for anyone, and so I'm gonna close off here. Hey Rex, thank you so much for joining me, man. I really
no worries,
appreciate it.
man. Good hanging
out. And hey, I was thinking going to the new year, let me know if you want to be a part of what we do with the Friday nights. It'd be awesome if you're keen on that.
Okay, what do you got? What do you do on the Friday nights?
On the Friday nights, we do Kiwis and comic books every Friday night at 7:30 p.m. New Zealand time. And we talk to Kiwi comic creators, and we talk to Aussie comic creators. So it's like an Aussie, New Zealand thing. And we talk about comics, movies, and everything that interests us, but also talk to creatives, as well as look at Kickstarters that they're doing. And, and we review comics. So it's kind of like a 2-hour New Zealand comic show.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I've seen that. I've seen your couple of episodes that you've done on that. Yeah. No, that's cool. Right. I didn't know that happened on Friday. No, yeah, I'll be happy to be a part of that. That'd be excellent.
Awesome. Because I like to make it more of a panel show rather than for just me, because I find it more interesting when there's, like this, like having somebody else to bounce off and talk about things, because everybody else has more information than I can manage in this little head, right? So it's always cool. Sure. So yeah,
that sounds good, man.
We'll start. I think we're going to start up like mid-January or maybe late January, and then carry on from there.
Yeah,
thank you so much, man.
Should be good. Yeah, no worries, man. Catch you later,
all right,
dude.
Catch you later, dude.
Sweet.
And everybody that's watching, I really appreciate you hanging out with us. This is a serious matter, and like I said, Japan's the #1 place I ever wanted to go to, along with like Machu Picchu. It's the ancients, and but like to see that happen, it's just sad, and it's nothing I can smile about, but I'm just happy that you guys have shared in this moment with me and joined and watched. But please, if you want to keep up, there's other places that I've put the in the chat there. There's a links to those other broadcasters. The one direct for Japan is NTV _news, and then also there's Agenda Free TV. Those are two that we've been putting in. And also there's YWION, YWION, which is the Indian broadcaster, which is like World is One news. And so, yeah, thank you. Happy New Year, wherever you are. It's middle of the night here for us. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday morning. Is it Wednesday or Tuesday morning? What is it? Yeah, it's Tuesday morning, 2 in the morning. So, ka kite ano, be well, be safe. Have a wonderful New Year and, 2024. And we'll join you soon. And we'll come back and we'll talk about comics and all the other stuff. But hopefully I'll wake up in the morning and everything's okay in Japan, and and all the folks there are okay. I know everybody's in Japan as tourists, right? Christmas holidays and stuff, and there is everybody from every nation's is probably there in Japan right now. So everybody's affected. It's not just Japan being affected. It's families, people have their loved ones there as well, visiting, or just family, or just going to see Japan. Be part of the culture, seeing manga, anime, weaves and types like me, right? Seeing what what the creatives are doing out there. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and I appreciate it. All the best for this year, and see you soon.